Thank you very much. I want to thank Liferay for letting us be here for a second year. And thank you all for being here in this session. I am José Varela, manager in the digital experience practice of Everis, and my colleague Oriol Hernan. We are going to talk about the proof of concept that we did, integrating Liferay with machine learning. Okay. First of all, I like starting with a little basics, about what can we say that the artificial intelligence is. The most basic definition of artificial intelligence. So I like to think about it the simplest possible way is that making a computer solve a problem the same way the human brain would. Okay, that's the most basic definition that I can possibly think about. And the other thing is, okay, what is machine learning then? Machine learning is making these computers learn on their own, so in time they can get better at the task, and you don't have to program it every time. So the whole concept of the machine learning is that the more data you feed the model, the better it gets to perform a specific task. Okay. People that have been working a lot with artificial intelligence and have been developing a lot of the artificial intelligence, they think that the artificial intelligence and the machine learning will have a tremendous impact on our everyday life. And a way for them to describe all the potential that the artificial intelligence and machine learning has is describing it as like the AI is a new electricity. Okay, it's a way for them to express how big the potential is for the artificial intelligence in our society. Okay, this is quoted from Andrew Ng. He's a co-founder of Google Brain, an expert in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and all that information you can find online about it. Okay. So if you think about what the impact of the electricity was when it was invented, not invented, but we learned how to manipulate and use the electricity. If you think about your daily tasks or your activity, from the very moment that you wake up, you're using electricity one way or another. It's so commonly used and so spread that you take it for granted and you don't even think about that you are using electricity. And it's changed dramatically how we live our everyday life. From the very beginning, when they invented the lightning rod, which is supposed to be the first attempt to control electricity by capturing the electricity out of the storms, from all the different inventions that came after that to our day-to-day, where all the communication, all the manufacturing, the healthcare, and all the industries have been dramatically impacted by electricity. Okay, it's very difficult to find an activity, a human activity, that is not based to some degree in electricity. So this is how they see the potential impact of artificial intelligence. But let's see how will the artificial intelligence disrupt this world, and what is the value that is creating now, and what is artificial intelligence capable of today. So there are several types of machine learning. One is the supervised learning, which I will talk about a little more now. And there are other types of machine learnings, like unsupervised learning or transfer learning or other kinds. But I think that the most advanced one is the supervised learning. And this is based on a process that allows the computer to solve problems by feeding it with a lot of input and output information. Okay? For example, if you have an email, the artificial intelligence can tell you whether or not this email is spam, or it can recognize images, or it can recognize text from a sound, can make translation, and this kind of things that you can do right now. And this is creating value because there are many uses that are being in use today for this kind of technology. Like, for instance, when you are purchasing something, and in, let's say, Amazon, the algorithms that display you the ads that you see are based on machine learning and artificial intelligence, because based on this lot of experiences, the AI can predict whether or not you would click or not on a specific ad. So, and there are many other examples, like fintech companies that are helping the people classify their expenses, for instance, using artificial intelligence. And these are the kind of things that today we can do with artificial intelligence. So, for everybody to work with artificial intelligence, until we get this point where we don't notice that we are working with artificial intelligence, we have to develop a way, all the industry have to develop a way and find a way to work and take advantage of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay? There are some specific challenges that need to be tackled before we get to this maturity point, and the main challenges are find use cases for our industries, for different industries, where we can take advantage of the artificial intelligence. Again, then we need to customize the algorithms and the machine learning mechanisms to adapt to our business cases. Then we need to have a lot of data that can help us train our models to take advantage of it. And this algorithm needs also to be adapted to our business case. Okay? And other challenges are that we have some scarce resources like talent and data. Okay? If you think about how we can produce this data, then you will have to think how you have to transform your business in order to produce this data, so you can consume data of quality, so you can train your models. Okay? So it's a transformation process that you have to live, depending on the industry and depending on the sector, in which you have to think strategically about how you create this data that is going to help you automate some things using artificial intelligence. Okay? So in this process of working around AI, there is something called the virtuous circle of AI. That is what everybody should look for. Is, okay, I am working on a product that is a great product, hence it's bringing a lot of users to this product. These users are producing a lot of data, and this data that is being produced by these users can feed back into the product, so I can improve my product by means of this information that they are creating themselves by using this product. Okay, this is what everybody should look for as an ideal model for working with AI products. Okay, so again, in our organizations, okay, everything the industries makes or the sectors try to do is either for increasing revenues or reducing cost. Okay, so that's the final goal of many of the business world. So everything you do is either for one or for the other reason, or for both. Okay, so that for you translated this into how can I use the leverage of AI for doing this. You have to bring this knowledge and bring partners that can help you find these use cases or business cases, can help you with the technology and the systems, and can help you with the transformation that you have to make inside of your company to do this. And then how to implement this and improve this over time. Okay, so I mean the conclusion of this brief conversation is that AI is here to stay, and there is a huge potential. The degree of development of the computers today allow us to see potential that is very, very clear and very real. And I think that the fact that we know and we see use cases that are already working based on AI is a clue. It's very evident that it's going to stay here for a while. So that we passed the trend moment, and we have this thesis that is going to remain around for a long time. So we have to take action, which is try to start working. If we haven't yet, we have to start working and experiencing with the AI in our companies, in our consultant companies. Okay. So it's all for the introduction. Right now, I'm going to give the word to my colleague Oriol, who is going to explain a specific case. Okay, in this case, we wanted to automate one of the things that we usually do with a Liferay. As an editor, for instance, we create content, and one of the things we do is we load images, or we save images into the Liferay library. But then we have to categorize these images. Okay, so we focus our proof of concept in using the machine learning, in this case TensorFlow, for proposing tags for classifying these images. Okay.
Thank you. Well, we are working in different approaches for the integration of the AI in Liferay. As my colleague said, we are working in the image classification, also in the document, and in the search. In the search, for example, it's used for improve the quality of the terms introduced by the user, for example, looking for synonyms, or also suggesting complete the next word, or complete the current one that the user is typing. In the case of image and document, as we can see, more or less is the same, and in our implementation, it's almost the same code for the different approaches. We upload an image. This image, we can request to get the tags. It's not currently we have an implementation that it is not integrated in the process of upload. We have a specific component to do that. Just for demo purposes, we can attach to the model listener or remain this portlet as this component. Excuse me, to control the request of tags. And then when we request these tags, we call the AI service that returns us some tags. Then when we planned this, we thought that it's really important for the user case to have a moderation of these tags, mainly because we want to improve our model with the actions done in the moderation part of this component. So if we discard a tag from a type of image, we want to remain this information for next times. Also the same with the content. The content mainly has the same parts it's the same workflow, just for categorizing documents on some topics. And the last case that we are working, it's for the current that I previously explained. That is, for example, there are some specifically there are some type of sites, general for the government websites that you have to access, and the terms used in the portal maybe doesn't fit what the user thinks. And then we can improve the quality of the search. The user if types wedding, we can use the AI service to aggregate more terms in the search, so this can be displayed to the user. Currently, we will talk specifically of the content categorization. in this case, we can upload an image or create a block entry in this case, and then we have the functionality of getting the tags. We have a specific component for do that, and the communication with the AI is done with a serialized content. In the next slides, I will explain a little bit more how is this information sent. Then the AI returns us the suggested tags that is in a JSON response, and then this response is used for our moderation module. This component is what I said. It's important because we want to retrain the artificial intelligence with our actions in the moderation, and then we have in this component we display the current tags of the content, and then we have two types of tags that the AI suggested: the existing tags of our system, or the new suggestions that we don't have or that we don't have as tags in Liferay. It's important to understand that we are not creating the tags directly. We only create the tags when they are approved in this component. To do that, we are using some technologies that these are. We are using Liferay. Why Liferay? Because as it's explained it in every conference, because it's an integration platform. So what we have in Liferay is that it's really easy to integrate these external services from the TensorFlow is in that case, and do applications with them. We are using TensorFlow. TensorFlow is an open source library for data flow programming. It's used for machine learning, and it's a product released by Google. So why we are using TensorFlow? TensorFlow, as each a client can have their own instance of TensorFlow instead of other services that are products that can take images or content. But we are using this one because the client has the control over the system and also can do this retrain. They may very focused in the user case that they have in the portal. For example, if you are a football team and you are uploading pictures of your players, you can retrain from Liferay the model because you are uploading lots of images from a specific players. So this is can be done in TensorFlow. We are using gRPC. This is a remote processor call framework. This is what we are using to communicate TensorFlow with Liferay. It's because TensorFlow doesn't provide a REST API, as we can think as developers that everything needs to have a REST API, but in that case, TensorFlow doesn't provide this, and instead, is using this protocol that is also released by Google. In that case, well, it's important to understand that what this protocol allows is to integrate systems with very different technologies. For example, TensorFlow is based on Python, so and Liferay it's Java based, so they are really different. And we have Liferay and TensorFlow deployed in Amazon Web Service as a cloud instances.
You don't have anything from Apple.
Okay, so regarding this slide, the important thing is that we have a Java client. So this Java client, it's what the first thing that it makes is to parse the content to a protobuf object. The protobuf is what it's it's how data structures. So in summary, is that you define data structures in text files. So mainly is a way to serialize content, and it's how TensorFlow provides a client to call the model that is published in TensorFlow. So this object is standard in both cases of images and text. There are really very few difference between the use of this object. It's an object that mainly you put the content serialized in there, and then it's used to call the model. And TensorFlow returns us the prediction in JSON format. Here is how the process it's working. What we how we developed this solution. We have mainly three components. We have the web administration that you will see now in a demo. And we have the service with its the service and the API to store the data returned by the AI. And also we have a tool just for reuse some functionalities of the AI. As I said, there are several things that can be reused between text, images. So we are using this tool for this. So, as I said, the retrain, and also we have it's a sample of the most important part. That is what we have is to get an image from the document library, for example, and then we use this object that I say the proto. So it is used to put the content of the images, and then you specify which model do you want to use from the TensorFlow part, and then you call the service for requesting the response. That is the case. So demo time, so it can be easy to understand some of the terms that we explain it. Okay, so. Just we have Liferay instance in the cloud. So as you can see, this part, the moderation, it's new. We have the part of the available images from our document library and the moderation tags. We have here the documents and media. We have some images uploaded. These two are from the trip of today. And what we can do now, for example, is to take a picture from some element.
Yeah, we need a volunteer that provides an item, any item whatsoever, as long as it's a pen.
Okay.
It's not a pen.
No, it's not a pen. One important thing is that the object is important because the model used in TensorFlow is done from a limited set of images. So currently, the model that we use has 1,000 categories, for example. Okay. No. we can take 2 pictures. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So also the important thing is how the photograph takes the picture, of course. Okay, we have one. I'm uploading directly on Liferay. Okay, and then I take the other one.
Thank you. Exactly as we practiced before.
Okay, perfect. So now we see that we have this document, these 2 pictures here in the document library. So for demo purposes, because in implementations we have the possibility, as I say, to integrate in the model listener or other types of integration. In that case, we have an administration part to get the tags here. No? For example, I get the tags from the cap and then the tags from the pen. So this interface doesn't provide more information than that. It's just for demo. And then we have the moderation of images. This moderation, it's as I said, it's important for us just for approve and discard tags. So in that case, it's a cap. So we can click in the cap. So now this is a tag from the image, just with a tag. We can do that. It's a bear class. In fact,
could be.
So could be a bear class. Okay, so it's placed on actual tags because there are actual tags from this image. As we didn't have a cap or beer glass tag, this section is empty. But we differentiate these 3 elements because this one is clearly, it's easy that we want to integrate directly as tags the ones that we already have in our system. So if you have a tag that for a car, for example, so if you upload another image and says that it's a car, so maybe you want to add directly as a tag in that case. We can go to the other one. In that case, in the system, we have a ball pen in our system. So as is a tag that already exists in our Liferay, so we can say, okay, so we can approve that. And then we have these ones. Also can be a missile or a projectile. So depends on how you throw it to someone. And okay, this is all for now. So
Go to the last one. They have to rate the demo. The last one.
Sí. Yeah. So this is all. So any question that you have, we can. Or
I think we have just time for one question. Anyone?
If it's to take a picture, this is not a microphone.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wanted to know, how do you populate back TensorFlow? So I understand that TensorFlow will detect that it's a missile or a pen or something else, but if you say that's a car, will it go back to TensorFlow, like the database of TensorFlow, or?
No, well, this is an important part because in the TensorFlow, mainly you have a pre-trained model that you need to export and then serve this model. That is what we are calling from Liferay in that case. For the retraining, actually what we are doing is to store all the administrative actions and the images of Liferay that then can be imported by a script to TensorFlow. Actually, it's not a direct connection because the protocol used is limited, actually. Google is releasing new versions of TensorFlow, and especially the libraries available to use. And the Java API, for example, is limited, and we don't have several functionalities. So can be implemented, but in that case, what we are doing is to store this information, and then you can retrain your TensorFlow with that information exported from your database.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jose and Oriol. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.